Hello, friends. I wanted to go over a quick overview of the Dearborn Police's new transparency dashboard and give you an idea of how it can be used and also what concerns there might be regarding data accuracy. So when you first find the transparency dashboard, this is the page that you'll see. If you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see that there are three tabs, one for calls for service, one for citations, and one for arrests. We see at the top for the calls for service tab that there is an explanation of what a call to service is, the priority level breakdown, and then other information. The page defaults to showing you the previous full year of data that we have. So the most recent full year of data that we have is for 2021. So this is the 2021 calls for service. And we see how that breaks down calls to service per month. We see the call types, and we see the priority level breakdown. Level 0 being the highest level priority, and then level 9 being the lowest level priority, 8 and 9 being the lowest level priority. So if you were curious to see what calls got assigned the top priority in 2021, we can click on this and it'll filter out just for those calls for service that are marked priority level 0. And we see in 2021, this was a lot of traffic complaints. And in the explanation above, we know that priority level 0 gets added to traffic accidents when somebody calls in that they've been in a traffic accident. We see how this played out per month of 2021 and how many there were total for the year. Now, if we wanted to say, oh, I got mixed up, I wanted to see priority level 8, we can clear that out. Come back down here, select priority level 8. And these are the lowest level priorities. So this is park and walk, gun registration, park and walk, park and walk. And we can see what months those tend to cluster in. So park and walk, critical infrastructure, we see a lot of those in January, which makes sense. This might indicate that there's an infrastructure issue related to potholes or other things like that. So again, we can come up and we can clear out our filters. And if we clear out the year filter, what we see are the calls for service of all time up through January of 2022. And we can see a comparison. We see January in 2022 is pretty on track when compared to 2019, 2020, and 2021. We see of all time, the highest reason for a call for service is canceled. So I believe that would be if the individual terminated the call, traffic complaints, and then park and walk. We see the priority level breakdown tends to be clustered in priority 0 or priority 8, with a few data points missing. Okay, let's head over to the Citations tab. Under the Citations tab, again, we see that it defaults to showing us 2021 or the last full year of data. We see that the department lists 15,679 citations issued for the year of 2021. We can see the monthly breakdown. We can see the reasons for the issuance of those citations, with the top citation reason being speeding 1 to 5 over. We can see the age breakdown of individuals receiving citations. So you can see that it skews a little bit younger. I believe that there may be a few data points that were entered incorrectly. I do think it's highly unlikely that the police department cited 2 0-year-olds. We can see the overall race breakdown and the overall sex breakdown. Now, what's really great about this is we can again investigate by drilling down. So we can say, I want to take a look at what Black men are being cited for. And we can see that that tends to be no proof of no insurance, no proof of registration, and then speeding 1 to 5 over, registration, impeding traffic. Then we can compare that against, so we can clear out our filters and we can compare it to white women. And we can see that for white women, we're looking at speeding, impeding traffic, disregarding stop sign, and then we get into plate violations. So for this, we can see a really clear comparison between the reasons that Black men are cited and the reasons that white women are cited. Now, there is a disparity between the number of citations listed here and the number of citations that were provided by the police department in response to a FOIA request. So this is data that was received in response to a FOIA request, and you can see the totals listed on this document indicate that the total citations for 2021 were 17,000 with 25,000 violations, which is, they're both pretty significantly different from the 15,000 listed on the website. Now, which data set is correct? That is a great question, worth asking. All right, then let's head over to the arrests page. Again, we default to see 2021. Up here, we see the total number of arrests for the year. We see the arrest breakdown per month. We see the reasons for arrests. And we see the age breakdown. The arrest type breakdown, so we see summons, taken, or on view. We see race breakdown and sex breakdown. So again, if we wanted to compare women who are white, or white classified, I should be saying, we see that white classified women tend to be brought in for assault and battery. And we can compare that to Black men. And we see that Black men tend to be taken in for driving while license suspended, warrant, and we don't get into violent offenses until the number 4 reason. So we can see that there's a disparity there. I'll clear out these filters. One issue that shows up in the age breakdown is that the oldest person arrested seems to be 120 years old. I think that is highly unlikely. That is the actual age of the person who was arrested. That strikes me as a clerical error. While I do believe it's technically possible, I don't believe that it's likely. Okay, and then again, we see a disparity between the arrest data reported on the website, indicating about 3,000 arrests, and the arrest data provided by the department in response to a FOIA request, which indicates the grand total of arrests at around 2,000. There was another data set released, which is closer to the 3,000, but all 3 data sets do not present the same number of total arrests by the department. So again, it becomes a question of which data set is correct. We can also clear out the year and see that there's a big disparity between the number of arrests in pre-COVID times and post-COVID times. So we see in 2019, the number of arrests conducted per year were much higher compared to 2020 and 2021. And we see that 2022 is also on that lower spectrum. There are some policy explanations for this, where the governor did issue executive orders indicating that police departments should focus less on plate violations and issues of poverty. I believe that those executive orders have expired. However, they did demonstrate that police departments did not need to focus quite so heavily on things like bench warrants. All right. Well, I hope that you found this helpful. This is actually a pretty incredible tool. I think it's overall very easy to use. I hope that you'll find some questions to ask it and see if it can answer those for you. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.